Hi everyone, thanks for taking your time out to come to this training module today. So today we're going to look at social science research methods. My own name is Michelle O'Connor and I'm going to be your trainer for the module. I'm doing a Masters in Research Methods in Social Science. So that's mainly what we're going to cover today. So I'd just like to start with an icebreaker, just so we all kind of warm up to the training module and get to know each other a little bit. So if we can go around the room and just get everyone's name, occupation or study area, and their goals for today's training session. So if you'd like to start here.
My name is Connor. I'm a full-time student. I'm going to my 4th year of college, so I chose this to broaden my horizons in research.
Perfect. So your goals is just to learn more about research methods.
Yes, yeah.
Great, so hopefully you'll be able to achieve that today.
Hopefully.
And behind him here.
My name is Louise McMahon and I'm a retail supervisor, but I'm actually in the process of going back to college, so I'm hoping that this training session today will kind of help me with my research, so that will absolutely be part of what I intend to do.
Perfect, great.
Hi, my name is Lauren. I work as a dancer and I've been to open my own dance groups. That's why I'm going to gain more experience in research.
Oh great, that's amazing. Hi yourself?
Hi, I'm Stephanie and I am just after starting the City Culture Master Research and Coordinator for your printmakers, so I'm hoping to pick up some tips in research each day.
Brilliant.
I'm Aoife and I'm now driving teaching there. I just want to know about research methods for better teaching.
Brilliant. Okay, that's great guys. So as I introduced, my name is Michelle and my goal really today is just to gain experience in training groups. So I do appreciate you all being here and I hope that today we will reach those goals that you identified. So just to kind of look at why we're doing social science methods. So I wanted to kind of highlight the importance before we go into what we'll be doing today. So social science research is applicable. So although there is other areas such as science, social science is something that affects all society and all humans. That's why it is so important. The social science area is growing. So here in the Limerick Institute of Technology we are getting a lot of funding for social science. So that's why it is quite important. And it's important to organisations, government policymakers and society. So there is job opportunities and personal development opportunities in both of those. So the goal of today's training is to develop an understanding of the core values of social science research, to learn the layout, methods and considerations within research, and to create confidence in all of you in understanding and completing research. So as you identified your goals, hopefully we will give that core understanding so that all of you, although in different areas, can develop your understanding and complete research in the future. So in this module today, we're going to be identifying a research question and proposal. We're going to look at social science research methods, so how to do social science, preparing a literature review, which is essential to doing any research project, looking at ethics and confidentiality, and completing a research report for an organisation or assignment. So at the end, we will be individually creating a research question and proposal to assess the learning here today, and we will ask every member to fill in an evaluation form at the end just to see how you found the training module. So identifying a research question. So this is the most important initial aspect in doing any research topic. So it's important to look at the time one has to complete the research. So you need to look at maybe a year, 2 years or 6 months because that will determine what kind of question you can answer. Of course it's important to be looking at the gap in knowledge, policy and services. So any important research project has to be filling a gap. It can't be reiterating previous research. Looking at feasibility. So you need to look at what can I feasibly answer in a good way. So for an example it would be if you're trying to create groundbreaking research into a topic that's not been well looked at before, if you have only 4 months to do that and no funding, you really have to look at kind of feasibility of how you're going to answer that question. So research is asking a question and then answering it for a mass audience. So that is a quote that I came up with in completing my own research project. So research methods. There's multiple different ways to gather data in social science. And they are quite broad compared to other areas such as science. So they mainly use semi-structured interviews or structured interviews, questionnaires and surveys, focus groups, analysing literature and journals, and case studies. So I'm going to go through briefly the pros and cons of each of these because each one would be used in different areas. So you wouldn't use some of these for each kind of broad area. to know what method best suits your research question, which I hope you'll know now by the end of this. Such as a sensitive subject such as suicide may not be best suited to a focus group. Is there any kind of initial thoughts on why?
Some of the group could have been affected by suicide.
Yeah.
Very sensitive topic.
So a focus group would be like this in a group setting, and it can be difficult on a sensitive subject for people who don't know each other to openly talk about their feelings. So that's why maybe a group or a topic like suicide would be best suited to a private one-to-one interview. So semi-structured interviews. So this has a list of questions that the interviewee would ask the interviewer would ask the interviewee. It's flexible around the participant, so the participant can really kind of determine what way they take the interview. They can walk in a different kind of area, and the interviewer will be quite flexible around that. So although they have questions, they may not get to all of them. It's quite informal. It covers a wide range of experiences, so that's why it's a good method. Although it can be difficult to analyse and standardise. So therefore, if you're interviewing 10 people on one topic, each person may take it in a different direction. So in terms of analysing, that may be difficult. Structured interviews has a list of questions which are not deviated from. So those questions have to be answered, and the participant can't really go off in different areas. If they were to, the interviewer would have to kind of bring them back to the questions that are at hand. So they only receive answers from questions asked, so although the interviewee may have kind of experience in different areas, they feel quite limited, so that would be a con in using that method. Questionnaires and surveys. It's very quick, so you can distribute maybe 4,000 surveys or 100 surveys quite quickly, and it gathers large amounts of data. It's easy to analyse, so you can use certain methods such as SPSS to kind of analyse that. However, it does not uncover experiences, so it only is yes, no, or comments. Focus groups, so as previously mentioned, it would be a group of people who are all connected by a kind of area that the person is researching. This, however, does need a very developed group facilitator, because in any group you can have a very dominant personality where one person will speak all the time. So you need a developed group facilitator to be able to manage the different personalities. It can be difficult to analyse because it's recorded and there'll be a lot of people speaking at the same time. So again, you need a very developed group facilitator to kind of analyse that. And gets developed data from group conversations. So it does give good quality data, and that people's conversations can develop experiences, develop ideas. So in that way it is a very good method. Analysing data, it's actually formally called critical discourse analysis. That is a method where you analyse journals, newspapers. You don't need any participants, which is easy when you have a time scale. It does go very in depth to a certain topic. However, coding can be very difficult. Coding can take up to a year in certain projects in critical discourse analysis. And it also takes a very developed reader and someone who doesn't mind being alone a lot in the research area. And case studies. Case studies is where you have maybe 3 participants, but you meet with them numerous times. You meet with their families, you look at their records, depending on the research project. So it does need a dedicated participant who doesn't mind opening up a lot and can analyse a large amount of data. So that was many of the research methods one can use. Now looking at the literature review, which is basically in your research report where you need to look at the literature that is done both abroad and in Ireland, so you can kind of look at what other people are doing in that area. So it is an essential part of forming, developing, informing and supporting your research question. So it is a very essential part. It develops in-depth knowledge of area and highlights other similar research pieces, and it's done throughout the research piece. So you're constantly doing your literature review, you're constantly looking at other people doing similar things that I am, what do I need to be aware of, etc. It's also quite in-depth. It'll usually be at least 5,000 to 10,000 words of any research piece. It should include your major theorists in the area you're studying. So any major theorists from years ago or to present need to be included in that. It should include the similar research pieces and supporting ideologies, and should reiterate the importance of your research. You want to constantly be reiterating why what you're doing is important, especially if you're getting funded or it's for a government policymaker. You really do want to reiterate the importance. It should be very well structured, so it should be very easy to flow, very easy to read, because it is so it's such a large chunk of data. So just an example, grandparent caregiving in Ireland, the literature review would follow this. So introduction. So introduction just be brief, kind of what you're going to cover. Theoretical perspectives, grandparent caregiving literature, grandparent caregiving in Ireland, conclusion. And that should follow such in the literature review. So now we're going to move on to ethics and confidentiality. This is an essential part of social science research. Ethics and social science